Video game downgrades are nothing new in gaming, from many titles over the years from either the biggest companies like EA, Ubisoft, and Activision just under-delivering or just plain being terrible. In this video, I will go over the issue of downgrading in video games while also giving you a bit of gaming history as a whole. Video games started in the 1950s, and from that period to the 90s, video games evolved from pixelated art forms that took up entire rooms to massive open-world groundbreaking pieces of art that really made you feel like that you were killing real people and immerse you in the world. But now more than ever, it seems like back in the earlier days of gaming with limited hardware, low memory, and basic repetitive songs and levels that generated more fluid games despite these constraints. The first form of video games would just be tennis with balls hitting back and forth on different sides of the screen, with the first video game that we would know of being Tennis for Two in 1958 and would essentially be Test for computers. Two early arcade games and beat 'em up style games, evolving into more hyper-realistic and globally connected gaming that we know of today. As consoles and PCs improved along with gamers' expectations, rising games would evolve from 2D worlds to 3D fully open world games like Ocarina of Time and the PlayStation 2's GTA trilogy. As innovation in gaming kept rising and rising, companies that are more known today would have to gain their respect through being consistent and putting out quality games. Most older games in this era usually being in a fixed state and being stuck that way with minor glitches or things that would snowball over time not being noticed until it was too late. With the PS2 era being known as the standard for gaming in the future. By the mid-2010s, we would already have games like Crysis, Far Cry, Forza that also push the technical leaps in gaming. But when you reach the technical height in the game, where does quality come into play? In the 7th generation of gaming, quality of games and the controversies that have come with it, with players feeling like polished or missing from their games, started towards the end of this era. Take one of the biggest games being Watch Dogs 1. This is one of the games that scarred its initial fan base so bad that people stopped having trust in the company, being Ubisoft, and their future games as a whole, especially with Watch Dogs 2. And while Watch Dogs 2 did do well and had positive reception, it still made a lot of people stay away from the game. And staying with Ubisoft, another franchise would be Assassin's Creed, with so many annual releases and bugs and poor quality that people have completely given up on the franchise. But on a positive note, it does look like Ubisoft is reflecting on their decisions and are starting to rebuild internally after losing $1 billion and multiple layoffs. But it's a start. But Ubisoft has already been beaten to death with these examples. And even with that, almost every major company in gaming is guilty of it, from EA, Activision, Rockstar, and even Minecraft, with some of these games having the worst monetization practices as a whole, along with scamming players with a sea of microtransactions or overall unfinished products. And I will go out on a limb here and say that microtransactions are a big part in why gaming has had a dip in quality since the 8th and 9th generation of gaming, ever since battle passes and loot boxes in just general took over gaming, to the point of being looked into by the FTC. And one of the realities that we are going to have to get used to in gaming is that developers have just become more greedy over time. Just look at Call of Duty and 2K, games that are known for having a casual player base with microtransactions that are overpriced. And especially on that Call of Duty front, with them being accused of using AI background art. So yeah, doesn't seem like they really give a shit about quality. And let's move on to the last point of the video, being graphics. Now let's get this out of the way. Current gen gaming has some of the most beautiful and realistic looking worlds of all time. While some can feel bland, ones that lock you in, really lock you in, like they make you just feel like that you're really there breathing that air. Take Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that took developers just years to work on and pure dedication to hard work and overnight stays. Or a game like Arkham Knight from 2015, run on Unreal Engine 4, that still looks better than half the games that come out today. But looking towards the future with the games like Gotham Knights, we can see deep decline in quality. And while we can blame this on a budget, ultimately it's up to the companies that push out these games quickly, like the state that Gotham Knights was put in, being more of a free-to-play model, Flash RPG. And while this inherently isn't bad, it goes against the fans of that series, and ultimately fed into it being the rush product that it was. Optimization also plays a pretty huge role in these games, and players have essentially become the testers for these games, marked as free-to-play or early access generally. And it seems like now more than ever, it's just going to become more common with the games being so much more corporatized and having tighter deadlines with less budgets like any industry does. So just to end off this video, maybe gaming will stay in its current state of consistent underwhelming releases. Maybe gamers will stop buying these games and force the developers to improve on what works. Ultimately, the question of this video, which is, are video games downgrading over time, is no. While gaming is still in a complex sort of phase, it is still a growing medium with its financial value. So, of course, AAA developers, indie developers, or just gamers like you and me are never going to let it die. So, just to end out the video once again, my name is Viando, and I hope you have a good day or night.